What's the biggest thing for you to improve on, stepping up and being a starter?
I think everything. Playing the run, being stout as the run, because I'm not as big of a guy, so being solid to run and just everything. Improving at a fast rate. I think I got a lot to prove. So. Okay.
Whoa, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the After Effect Podcast. I'm your host, LeBron Stephen, but you could call me LBZ, L Boogie, Big Brian, B Ron, LB. Choose. Welcome to a special edition of episode 31 of the After Effect Podcast. I actually just got this idea today. This is Wisconsin week. My alma mater, the University of Iowa, plays the Wisconsin Badgers this Saturday. I saw and read an article today that kind of prompted me to do this impromptu episode to kind of just give my take on our epic battle 2010, where we lost 31-30. I believe we were number 15 in the country. Wisco was number 13 in the country. And I just kind of wanted to give an inside look because that essentially a game that I never wanted to kind of relive. And there was a play that I was a part of where I felt like it was majorly my fault, and I felt like we lost the game because of that. And that picture was painted vividly by a few of my coaches the next day. And I kind of just wanted to give you guys an inside look on what really happened that we could practice, what really happened in that game, the day after in film study, and just really what happened, the rest of that season. So without further ado, I'll just kind of go in, improv in a bit. So yeah, I read an article by Scott. Shout out to him. He's a great writer and reporter. Saying that game 2010 it ended up being 56 NFL players in that game, right? And what a joy to be a part of that, right? I mean, everyone knows we had Adrian Claiborne, we had Christian Ballard, we had Carl Klug, we had Brett Greenwood, Tyler Sash, Micah Hyde, Sean Prater. Then on offense, obviously we had Riley Reef, Adam Geddes, Julian Vandervelde, Ricky Stanzi, Marvin McNutt, all the big play guys. Anthony Hitchens was a super young guy. Christian Kirksey was a super young guy. Don Shumpert was a super young guy. And then on defense, if you all remember, that's when J.J. Watt was starring for them. 2010 was his come out season. Kind of catapulted him in the first round. At the other end, they had O'Brien Schofield on the offensive line, who I battled against. They had Gabe Karimi, who went in the first round. The guard, Kevin Zeitler went in the first round. He might still be playing for the Cowboys. The center, Peter Kahns, the running back, Monty, the running back, James White, who's still in the league, killing it. Obviously, the quarterback, Scott Tarzine, who kind of went around the league a little bit. I'm not sure if he's still there, and that's just to name a few. But what a joy and pleasure to, be a part of that game, right? So for an inside look of that, we could practice. I remember like it was yesterday on Monday was our day off. We would lift and obviously watch a bunch of film. We always started that Wisconsin film right on Sunday. The game before that, I think we beat Michigan in the big house. That was a big game. That was actually one of the better games of my redshirt junior year. I think I got like a fumble recovery. Carl Klug forced a fumble and I recovered it and had a couple tackles. Really just kind of started to come into my own. For whatever reason, 2008, 2009, I felt like the coaches didn't trust me. So they made it seemed like it was really hard for me to get any playing time, especially in that 2009 season. I mean, they would leave Adrian out there to die before they put me in. And a lot of my teammates couldn't understand it. But it's politics and everything. But 2010 was a bit different. Adrian came back for his senior year, but everyone knew he was going in the first round. And felt like I really started to earn or garner, the coach's trust. me and Adrian actually got to a point where my defensive line coach didn't even have to tell me to come in. Whenever I could tell Adrian was tired, he would just do a little sign or something like that, and I would just come in for him. And it was working well. I was spelling them good, making some plays while I was in there. And that Wisconsin game was no different. But on that Tuesday of practice, we practiced hard Tuesday and Wednesday. Then Thursday was obviously shells. And on that Tuesday, if anyone that knows football, Wisconsin is a team. They run a lot of complex run formations. So we had to practice the power blocks, the DNs and defensive tackles, because if we were in a 5 technique, if we were to the strong side, obviously that tackle is going to base block you, and then that tight end is going to come, on that right hip, and you got to, punch and stay low on that tackle. So when that tight end comes down, you don't get pushed down too far down the line to create that hole, create that seam. So while we were practicing those, and I think I didn't slip my disc in my back, but I did something in my lower back. I injured it, and I had to sit out of practice the rest of that Tuesday. I didn't practice that Wednesday, only did individual. Couldn't lift the rest of the week. Just got a bunch of treatment. Coach Franz actually made sure I sat out of the hard contact drills. Didn't do much on Thursday. We were only in shells. Still did some reps, but obviously shells, not a lot of contact. And we felt like I was going to be a part of that game, the Wisconsin game, and I really was. I think I played maybe like 15, 18 snaps, something to that nature. And so, yeah, whenever Adrian got tired during the game, it was a crazy game. Sold out in Kinnick. Kinnick was roaring, 3:30 ABC game. Like I said earlier, we were 15, they were 13. And it's just a lot of twists and turns to the game. I think by the fourth quarter, by the time the fourth quarter came, we were up 30-24. It was 4 minutes and 2 seconds left. Adrian had got super tired. Obviously, he was going super hard. I think he had a maybe like 1 or 2 sacks, a couple tackles for loss, a bunch of hurries, tackles as well. So I was just spelling them, doing my job, doing what I had to do whenever I got in there. And this was a time where he was tired, so I came in for him, 2nd and 10. And so the game plan versus Wisconsin was, to the field, we were running me games. To the boundary, we were running you games. So, I was to the field. Me and Carl Klug was to the field. And it was an automatic thing. That's what we practiced. We didn't have to do a sign or a signal. Coach, our defensive line coach, he wanted us running games. Unless he told us that we could base rush and, do whatever we wanted to do. So, with the me game, the defensive end, you take 2 steps upfield, and then you go, you go inside, you crash on the B gap, in hopes that the tackle blocks down on you a bit, and that guard comes out on you, and then if the tackle sells it good enough, and then he works out, he should come clean, or he should come clean around that edge, or I should come clean. So of course me doing the me game, I know I'm going first. I try to put a little sauce on it, and I do a spin, right? As soon as I do a spin, I notice that Carl isn't coming around for the me. So obviously, it's during the play, so I work back out really fast. Okay, I'm to the field, can't lose contain. It was literally not even 2 seconds. I can't even tell you or explain what I was doing. I worked out, and for whatever reason, I literally looked to the left of the field like this, literally for like 2 seconds like this. And then before I don't know what I was looking at. I'm not like, I can't even explain it to you. Literally, I know that was 10 years ago, but I have a pretty good memory, but I literally can't tell you what I was doing. And to show you, I have the second and 10, the 3rd and 4 after I lost contain, and Scott Tolzien got 6 yards, and the 4th and 4, where they ultimately ended up converting that, and ultimately, I believe, ended up scoring and beating us 31-30. So, play the clip.
Sooner or later, they're going to run a quarterback draw because the middle of that defense is wide open. When they spread with 5 wides, there's nobody in the middle.
Each yard Wisconsin picks up that blocked extra point that Iowa had knocked down by J.J. Watt earlier in the game looks bigger and bigger. 6-point margin. Tolzien running room to the left. Hyde closed quickly and shoved him down. They're going to spot it at the 34-yard line. And here comes another big third down and 5 again.
You win on third down. Whoever wins third downs generally wins the game.
Third and a long 4. Look out from behind. Tolzien stepped up. It got deflected and falls incomplete. Boy, Tolzien had a great sense of the rush coming from behind him. A la Tom Brady, that knack for the one step in the right direction to get clear. But they knocked down his throw. And here's fourth down, and the Badgers will go for it.
And who he was feeling was Adrian Claiborne. And that's the time. That's the time for great players to step up. He did it on third. Let's see what happens on fourth.
Another 2 for 2 on fourth down today. Converted on the fake punt a moment ago. Came in 1 for 3. Tolzien throws, caught.
Man, and I'm not gonna lie to you all. I hate watching that clip. Hate watching that game. I hate even having to relive that, right? Because I knew, and if you watched it, you saw me when Scott Tolzien ran out of bounds. I like jumped in the air with a little tantrum because I knew I messed up, and I knew it was going to be world game and it filmed the next day. I can't remember if I got back in after that. I don't think I did, but I just remember, and I'm going to be honest and transparent because I only believe in that on my platform, on my podcast. I remember drinking an entire bottle of Hennessy at my apartment on Aber Avenue in Iowa City, not going out, just stayed on the couch because I knew it was going to be it was going to be a big problem. Come filmed it the next day, and I wanted to just forget about what 8 to 10 to 12 hours, right? Because for whatever reason, I was on a small string. I couldn't mess up a lot. If I made any mistakes, I'm out the game, and I don't get any more tick for or playing time that year. So, I mean, I know what it was, but I'm not going to go on that on this episode. So, like I said, that Sunday came around. I think our team meeting used to usually be around like 1:45 or 2 o'clock or something to that nature. And I remember Kirk Ferentz kind of just keeping it light, keeping it vague, watch the film, get better. And as soon as we got in there, I just remember Rick Kaczynski just going in, just literally blaming me for the loss. Like, literally. Lost contain, doing your own shit by spinning, even though you work back out, you still lost contain. Messing up the senior season. The seniors had a chance to move up in the Big Ten and still chase that Rose Bowl. Just can't trust you. It was a laundry list of things, that he said. And I just remember watching it once we finally got to the fourth quarter. If anybody knows, the film and when you're watching film, in the film room, you got the clicker and it got the little red light. And he's like, doing this. What are you doing? We're doing this, doing this. What are you doing? What are you doing? Just kept saying, you let the seniors down, you let the defense down, you let the team down. And I really just felt like Rick, he capitalized on opportunities like that. If you messed up and we lost, and you were a guy like me who had a really small string, who couldn't make any mistakes. I mean, you could tell he was chopping at the bit to get after you, to make you feel like shit, to make you feel like the most horrible person in the world. And I remember, after that game, I think Michigan State, I didn't get any playing time. We blew them out. I think I may have got 2 snaps at the end of the game. And then who was next? Indiana, no snaps. Northwestern, I think I got a couple of snaps because Adrian was literally about to die out there. Maybe like one snap, maybe. Literally, they brought him back. And they called the timeout and brought him back in. Ohio State, like maybe 2 goal line plays, goal line. Still started on goal line. Luckily, no snaps in Minnesota, no snaps in the Insight Bowl. And so I just vividly remembered that play and that game because it was such a big game, and I've just made that mistake, and it took me so long to kind of heal from it, heal those scars, listen up, and heal those scars of how he made me feel that it was my fault for losing the game. And as we all know, football is an 11-man sport. We all work as a team. No one play controls the outcome of a game, offense, defense, special teams, all that stuff. And I remember that. I remember it was a big special teams play that happened. I can't remember the quarter, maybe second. We thought they were going to punt. They fake punt and caught us slipping. I think the second quarter, that was a big special teams play. But as we know, it's a game of offense, defense, and special teams. But I just remember obviously caring so much, being so invested and giving blood, sweat, and tears to the program, and being on my fourth year, redshirt junior, kind of climbing my way up the ladder, and finally feeling like I was starting to, gain some type of trust from the coaches to the point where I was getting significant snaps, and it was gone at the blink of a hat. So, if I have any young football players watching, whenever you get your opportunity, what you got to do, don't mess up. I mean, obviously you're going to mess up. Don't be afraid to mess up, but just try your best and do your best. And I hope and pray that, the football guys is with you in your career, that you get another chance to compete, or, get another chance to further your career. Right. And so, yeah, like I said, this was super impromptu. I really just wanted to get this out and kind of give that inside look from that week of practice, and leading into the game, and then during the game, and then after the game. I think I never still text Carl Klug from time to time, but I think I never asked him, were we supposed to do a me game? But I think it was like he expected me to communicate it, but the way we had practice was like we weren't supposed to communicate it. You were to the field, you were in a me game. If you were to the boundary, you were in a U game. So I know that my Iowa Hawks are going to go there this Saturday and give it their all. They're playing amazing right now, 5-2, number 16 in the country. And Wisconsin is a big game. The trophy game. All those things. So that was another part that sucked, watching them, because 2009 we beat them up in Madison, so we had the trophy, and see run across there and take the trophy in 2010 after a 1-point loss. I mean, in the sold out Kinnick Stadium. I mean, that shit. And when I say that shit hurt it, I can't explain it to you no other way. All right, that shit hurt it. And yeah, but it's cool to relive those situations and those cool experiences. It was so cool, that article by Scott, where it ended up being 56 players drafted in that game. So much talent on both teams. I felt, when I read it, I just felt so blessed to be a part of it. But then that's when I remembered the play, if you will, or why it happened. So yeah, I just wanted to give you all an inside look, on my own platform, and kind of be honest and real, and kind of tell those inside things. So hope you all enjoyed this very, very short episode 31. I want to apologize. We didn't get to release 2 episodes last week, like we have been doing for the last 6 months, because after 30 episodes, I kind of brainstormed with my editor and wanted to change our intro up a little bit, just to stay innovative and creative, and things, since we had 30 episodes of content. And so what we came up with for our final draft, we were just having rendering issues with the film creativity that we came up with. So we got to finalize that this weekend. So I'll probably use the old intro for the next 2 episodes to give us some time until next week. But I appreciate all the subscribers, all the views, all the listeners on all the podcast apps. This specific episode will not be on the podcast apps. It will be exclusively on YouTube. And I'll continue to do things like this and make it available to my Patreon account, to whoever subscribes to that. So please support. As you know, this content, in this content space, it's hard to make money, if any, right? It's more so passion driven, right? So thank you all for all the support. Continue to rock with me as we continue to grow the podcast. We have some very, very special guests coming up from episodes, 32 to 40, keeping this thing rolling, continuing to tell sports stories, powerful sports stories, and give you all an inside look. So until next time, peace.